science. They don't know exactly where this water is going to go. Thousands of people are going to be flooded. The governor has said, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. It is heartbreak in Louisiana right now. This is what they're having to do to relieve pressure on a swollen levee system, a very taxed levee system, and they don't know if that levee system is going to hold even with this. They're being inundated with water. People who have dealt recently with tornadoes just a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, Hurricane Katrina and Rita that hit the area and have done so much devastation to Louisiana. You can't take your eyes off these pictures. Imagine if this was happening in your community, this much water. Knowing your homes, your farms, your livelihood would be flooded. We're going to get to our players here. We've got Ed Lavandera on the ground. Ed is going to join us in a second. Look at the flooding. This is what's being flooded. This is all just moments ago. Once they started to release the pressure on the Morganza Spillway and let that water out. Look at these levees. Water pouring across the levees. That's the Mississippi River there. Look at that. Unbelievable. We're going to follow this breaking news story for you because we don't know what's going to happen here. We don't know how this is going to end up. They don't even know if this is going to actually relieve all the pressure and help that stressed levee system in Louisiana, which has been inundated with so much water and so much heartache. Our Jennifer Delgado, our meteorologist, is also here as well. We're going to get to her in a moment. I want to go to the ground now, and my colleague Ed Lavandera for this breaking news. This is historic. These floodgates have not been opened, Ed, since the 1970s, and as we say, heartbreak. Show us what's happening where you are.
Well, 1973 to be exact, Don, and this is just one of the gates. And to give you a sense, just a little while ago, we were standing down here where you see these gates on the ground here, and that water has already here in the last few minutes already taken all of that over. We just had a chance, Don, to walk over on top of the Morganza Spillway structure and kind of stand over that gate and get a sense of watching that water. And I tell you, this vantage point is impressive, but when you stand over it and see how wide and how powerful the water is rushing through just that one gate, it really is impressive. Now, where we're standing, the water begins the long, slow process of making its way toward the Gulf of Mexico, and with it, a lot of heartache and pain for the many people who live in the communities that will be in the direct path of these floodwaters, towns like Butte, La Rose, Stephenville, and down into Morgan City. So they'll be watching this closely. We are about 45 miles north of Interstate 10, and officials say here that it will take about a full day for a lot of this water to make it to Interstate 10. Well, we don't anticipate any road closings or anything. The interstate over that part of Louisiana is suspended over the swamps and the water over there, so that water will go underneath there, and then it will take about 3 days to get to Morgan City. And as you mentioned off the top, this is all about the pressure on the levee system along the Mississippi River between Baton Rouge and Louisiana. Anything over 1.5 million cubic feet of second of water is just simply too much for the levee system to handle, can really cause problems, and it could be devastating for those levees. So they had to relieve one of the pressure off that. The colonel here, who's in charge of the Army Corps of Engineers and made the decision of opening this up, describes this as an off-ramp of the Mississippi River Highway, and this is one of the few places where water can come off the river. And even though it's got to go through this river basin, it makes its way to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, Don.
Hey, Ed, let me jump in there. I don't want you to go far away because we're going to come right back to you. Our Ed Lavandera is right there in Louisiana, right where it's happening at Morganza. Ed, stand by because you mentioned the Army Corps of Engineers. I want to go on the phone now to Ed Fleming of the U.S. Army Corps. Colonel, I know it's a difficult decision to open the Morganza Spillway after nearly 40 years of not having to use it, and the heartbreak for people who know they're going to get flooded.
Yeah, you know, the amount of water that is coming down the Mississippi River all the way from Cairo, Illinois, down through the state of Louisiana is record-setting, and we operate this as a system, and this is one of those off-ramps that Ed just mentioned, and we operated it starting today, and we think there's a successful operation going on right now.
Hey, so listen, I've been telling our viewers here, Colonel, that this is an exact science. There are about 2,500 people in direct path of the spillway, and then there are around 22,500 others who are threatened by the swollen backwaters. The governor has urged people remaining in these areas to begin evacuating. You really don't know how many people this is going to affect, do you?
Well, we have a sense of how many people will be impacted, but there are some of those folks that you mentioned that live behind a levee, and there are some communities that have ring levees around them, and so they should be okay. We're also undertaking a flood fight with the city of Morgan City and some of the other local levee districts. So we're doing the best we can up here to relieve the pressure on the Mississippi River, but we're also down in Morgan City and Amelia and Berwick flood fighting with HESCOs and sandbags and pumps, doing the best we can to support them.
Yeah, and you just saw our Ed Levin